How much do Canadians know about their own history? It really depends on the sphere of history that you're looking at. In some ways, Canadians' understanding of their own history has improved significantly because of the efforts of a lot of the people who've been supporting Indigenous rights, for example, and really underlining the degree to which Indigenous peoples were pushed off their historical lands, were shoved into residential schools, basically had uh, assimilation forced on them, linguistic assimilation. So that part of Canadian education has improved very, very much. At the same time, there are areas in which Canadians, in their own minds, have kind of a blank slate, and that blank slate, unfortunately, gets crowded out by American historical events, and that's particularly true in the second half of the 20th century, and I would argue up to the 21st century. What happened during the 20th century was Canada became a genuinely sovereign nation after World War One. In the 1930s, during the signing of the Treaty of Westminster, Canada's power to determine its own foreign policy was ceded by Great Britain. And that meant that during the Second World War, Canada was a genuinely sovereign nation. Now, it was difficult with the British because a lot of the people in the British power establishment simply could not let go of their conceptualization of Canada as part of their empire. In fact, if one reads histories by contemporary historians, contemporary British historians, on the war effort, when they talk about Britain, they will often use the term Britain and her empire and Britain and the Commonwealth interchangeably as if the two things are synonymous. They are not synonymous. During World War II, India was still a colony of Britain. It was part of the British Empire. But during World War II, Canada was certainly not. And Canadian officials had to fight tooth and nail in some cases in order to defend their sovereignty and in order to defend Canadian soldiers from being fed into the British war machine instead of being allowed to operate independently. One reason that there was a Canadian division landing at Juno Beach as a distinctly Canadian division was because of the efforts of people like General MacNaughton, who wanted to emphasize that Canada was its own fighting force. So